I tracked every gram of fiber I ate for 30 days. The results were mostly what I expected, except for one thing that happened in week 3 that changed how I think about food entirely. The average person eats around 15 grams of fiber a day. The official recommendation is 30, but researchers studying ancestral diets, the way humans ate before ultra-processed food existed, are now pointing to 50 grams as the number our guts were actually built for. So what happens when a body gets that? Not in theory, not on a nutrition label. Day by day, week by week, inside the gut, the bloodstream, and as it turns out, the brain. This is what the science says, and the findings in week 3 are something you'll want to stay for. Let's go through it. Days 1 through 3 are uncomfortable. That's the honest starting point. The colon is home to trillions of bacteria, and most of them, in the modern gut, are adapted to a low-fiber diet. They're used to easy food, refined carbohydrates that break down long before reaching the large intestine. When soluble fiber from oats, beans, and fruit arrives in volume, those bacteria finally have something to ferment, and fermentation produces gas, bloating, pressure, discomfort that makes the first few days feel like a mistake. But it isn't a mistake. It's a signal that the microbiome is being asked to work. By day 5, something shifts. The bacterial strains that thrive on fiber, bifidobacteria, lactobacillus, begin to multiply and crowd out the less helpful species. Digestion starts moving more consistently. Transit time improves. And something else emerges. Week 2 is when the body begins sending signals it hasn't sent in years, or possibly ever. Soluble fiber dissolves in water and forms a thick gel inside the stomach. That gel slows digestion. It keeps food present longer. And it triggers the release of a hormone called GLP-1, the same hormone that pharmaceutical weight loss injections attempt to replicate artificially. The body was always capable of producing it. It just needed the raw material to do so. Blood sugar stabilizes. Energy holds steady across the day, not from stimulants, but from slower, more controlled glucose absorption. Multiple studies now link higher fiber, more diverse microbiomes with lower rates of anxiety, depression, and cognitive fatigue depend on. Researchers have begun referring to the gut as a second brain, not as a metaphor, but as a functional description of what it does. This is what changes in week 3. Not weight, not energy alone. The internal environment that mood and mental clarity depend on. And it changes not because of a drug or a supplement, but because the gut finally received what it was designed to process. By day 30, the gut that started this experiment no longer exists in the same form. Fiber-consuming bacteria now dominate the microbiome. A landmark meta-analysis published in The Lancet found that people with the highest fiber intake had a 15 to 30% lower risk of all-cause mortality compared to those eating the least. A separate 2019 analysis covering nearly 250 studies found that for every additional 8 grams of daily fiber, risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and colorectal cancer dropped by 5 to 27%, with the dose response continuing upward past 50 grams. 50 grams is not extreme. It is what the human digestive system was built around before processing, refining, and convenience stripped fiber out of the food supply entirely. The gut hasn't changed. The food did. Getting to 50 grams doesn't require a complete diet overhaul. A cup of lentils at dinner, ground flax seeds stirred into a morning smoothie, an apple with the skin on, whole grain bread instead of white. These small, stackable swaps move the number faster than most people expect. If the gut-brain connection surprised you, hit like. It helps this reach people who need to hear it. Subscribe and turn on notifications. New videos go this deep into the body every week.